Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Hello there, welcome to episode 181 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and if you're listening to this episode on the day that it is released, Merry Christmas! To all of you who celebrate, this is Christmas Day. This episode's going out the 25th of December, 2018. Now, I did consider maybe scheduling it for a day or two later. After all, I know you guys love the show and all of that, but I don't really expect you to be going out of your way to download this episode and listen to it while you've got gifts under the tree and you've got family and friends visiting and you've got Christmas dinner to overindulge on. But you know what? I thought maybe one or two people love this podcast just enough to squeeze in 20 or 30 minutes into their Christmas day. So if you're one of those people, I truly, truly appreciate you. And if you're not, that's fine. I'm not going to be listening to our podcast on Christmas Day. So, anyway, this is a very, very special episode. We're going to be looking back at the top 10 most downloaded episodes of the Membership Guys podcast during 2018. This is the third year where we've done this. So I think it's official now that this is a Membership Guys podcast tradition. And from the feedback that we've had in previous years, you guys quite like this tradition too. So during this episode, we're going to be counting down from the 10 most downloaded episodes of this show during 2018. So it's only episodes released in the past year. We're going to rank, we're going to chart the 10 most popular ones of those. And it's crazy. It is crazy to think that a year has passed already. I still very much remember recording this episode last year. The last 12 months has absolutely flown by. It's been a fantastic one here for us at the Membership Guys. Once again, we've had the privilege of being able to speak and attend different events around the world. And in doing so, we've had the opportunity to meet more and more of you guys. And that is, without question, my absolute highlight of what we do. Being able to actually just stand, even if it's just for a few minutes, and chat to you in person, whether it's in Philadelphia, San Diego, London. It is a genuine highlight anytime I'm able to actually meet one of our Academy members or even just one of our podcast listeners who hasn't yet gotten around to joining the Academy. It honestly makes my day anytime I get the chance to do that. So if you're one of the people that I've had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with this year, thank you so much. And if you're not, hopefully we'll get the chance to meet sometime in the next 12 months or so. It's also been a great year for our Academy members too. You guys are doing fantastic, amazing stuff inside MemberSite Academy. It's so exciting to watch your sites develop and to be a part of your journey, and long may it continue. And of course, we've been cooking up some exciting plans of our own during the last 12 months too. The biggest of which is our conference that we are running in the UK next year. This is the first time that we are doing this, and we are so excited. It's been a labor of love. It's been a lot of work already, and we've still got 9 months to go until the conference happens, but we already have so many of you coming from all over the world. We've got people coming to the conference from America, from Canada, from New Zealand, Australia, the United Arab Emirates, from Russia, from Europe, and of course, from the UK, because that is where the conference is being held. It's called Retain Live, and you can go to retainlive.com for more details if somehow you haven't heard us talking about the event already and you haven't already checked that out. That's going to be huge for us in 2019, and no doubt when we do this episode again in a year's time, we're going to be talking a lot about that. But for now, I'm going to stop holding you guys in suspense because I know that you are desperate to find out which 10 episodes of the Membership Guys podcast were the best, the most popular, the most downloaded episodes of 2018. So we're going to start things off with number 10. So the 10th most downloaded episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2018 was episode 166, my interview with Amy Woods from Content 10X, where she dropped value bomb after value bomb about how to repurpose your membership content.
Really, it's about reaching more people, reaching people in different ways, and continuing to add value with your repurposed content. So, like I said, it's not just copy and paste. It's how can you add value? How can you reformat the message? So when we repurpose content, when we work with our clients, it's more about what was the original message and how did you originally communicate that? And then how can we look at a way of communicating that message in, different ways to add more impact and things like that. So really that's, it's important because not everybody consumes content in the same way. Not everyone listens to a podcast. Not everybody watches video. Not everybody likes to read. And so if you're not repurposing your content, you're just missing out on reaching different people in different places. And, you can gain more authority, more credibility when you can show that you can make a point in different ways, in different formats. So really, that's what content repurposing is. It's not a kind of sloppy, lazy attempt to just, repost. It's so much more than that.
I really, really enjoyed this interview. Amy Woods is mega, mega smart, particularly when it comes to really extracting every last drop of value from content, whether it's public content that you're putting out there on a blog, podcast, video, or whatever, or whether it's your membership content. And quite often, when it comes to repurposing, people don't think about their membership content because they treat their free content and their paid membership content as two completely separate things. But as we went into during that episode, it's all part of the bigger picture. It's all part of the same puzzle. And when you think about things that way, the opportunity for really getting a little more bang from your buck, from getting more mileage from your membership content, those opportunities really, really open up. Check out that full episode, themembershipguys.com/166. Fantastic interview about repurposing your membership content with Amy Woods. And Amy is actually going to be one of our featured speakers at Retain Live. We can't wait to have her up on stage, diving even further into practical examples and practical tips and tactics that you can use to get more mileage from your content. Believe me, it was only the tip of the iceberg what we talked about during that episode. So you're going to want to catch Amy on stage. But now it is time to reveal the 9th most downloaded episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2018, which was episode 151, the 3 questions that will accelerate your membership growth. I love the fact that this is in the top 10 of our most popular downloads in 2018 because it's such a simple episode. It's quite short, and actually when you listen to it, you're probably going to be thinking, well, this seems obvious. But then you'll be thinking, well, why aren't I already doing it? It's one of those kind of things. What I talk about in this episode is a total no-brainer. And really, these 3 questions I'm going to discuss, if you check out episode 151 at themembershipguys.com/151, these are 3 questions that literally every single membership site owner should be asking on a regular basis in order to really drill down into what is going to fuel your growth. So check out a clip from that episode. So the first question you need to be asking is, why did you join? And this is a question you need to ask your existing members of your membership, preferably after they very first join your site. But if you've never asked this of your current members, then this is a good question to go out there and pose to your entire existing member base as well. Why did you actually join our membership? The answers to this question will give you insight into the most compelling aspect of your membership, what it was that drew people to you in the first place, so that you can then focus on those elements more within your marketing, on your sales page, in your copy, in your emails, and so on. Now, it's so important, and I say this all the time, to remember that your role in business, not just your role as a membership owner, but your role in business as a whole, is to be a problem solver. And so this question is going to help you to identify the main problems your audience have that they entrusted you to solve with your membership. And that knowledge and the information you glean from the answers to this question, from the reasons people joined your membership in the first place, that information is going to be vital for refining your marketing message. Okay, head on over to themembershipguys.com/151 to listen to that episode in its entirety. So now, counting down, number 8 on our list of most downloaded episodes in 2018. 7 ways to make more money with your membership. That is episode 134. Any sort of products that you are selling have relevancy to your audience. Otherwise, you're probably just going to rub them up the wrong way if you're constantly nudging them to buy something that just doesn't make sense in the context of why they joined your membership. Now, depending on how your membership is actually set up, then having other products on sale, again, this is something you can leverage pretty much in the same way as we talked about with live events. You know, if you're using a membership plugin like WooCommerce, for example, that gives you the ability to make it so that your logged in members, so subscribers to your membership, get a standing discount or a special member-only price on anything that otherwise would be more expensive when sold to the public. So you can have an e-commerce store selling products to anybody, not just restricted to members, although again, that's another area you could leverage. You can make certain products available exclusively to members or available to members early, but you can have that e-commerce store with your public-facing price, and then maybe it's a standing 10% discount or something like that on all of your products that your members get. That's another perk that you can promote to the public to encourage them to join your membership. So this episode really is essential listening for anyone who's kind of out of that initial 6 to 12 months of having your membership up and running, where, you know, once you've got the basics covered, once you stop juggling tech stuff and you're settling into a rhythm with your membership, it's really around about that time you should be thinking about what's next. Whether you're going to develop additional products and kind of build out a membership ecosystem, how you're going to handle upsells, if indeed you're going to have upsells and other products and services, or whether you're going to focus all of your attention just on your membership and look at increasing your revenue through raising prices, through focusing on your retention strategy, or whatever. In episode 134, we dig into 7 of the main ways that you can make more money, increase your revenue with your membership business. Check it out, themembershipguys.com/134, or head over to the show notes for this episode 181. We'll have links to all of the top 10 on that page. It's themembershipguys.com/181. And just in case you were thinking of just going there and turning this episode off and spoiling the results, we've actually jumbled up those links, so there's no spoilers, because we're just that petty. So if you were wondering what number 7 on the countdown was, the only way to find out is by staying tuned, because that is going to be revealed round about now. It's episode 148, 8 simple ways to add a personal touch to your membership. You know, the more that automation and AI and chatbots and all of that sort of stuff, the more those things become more prolific, the less personal the member experience becomes. And while this may be a sad indictment about the marketing industry and the online business industry as a whole, it also represents a massive, massive opportunity for you to really put your membership head and shoulders above other people in your industry by being the person who invests in making the member experience more personal. To do that, check out episode 148, that's our 7th most downloaded episode. 8 simple ways to add that personal touch into your membership. You can listen to the full episode at themembershipguys.com/148. But for now, you can get a little bit of a clip from that episode, number 7 on our countdown. If you can deliver that personal touch, even if it's just 30 seconds of well-rehearsed, well-practiced spiel, welcoming someone to the membership, but calling them by name, maybe even making a little reference to where it is in the world that they are. So, you know, if you can see from their registration that they're from Texas, making a little reference to the Super Bowl or something like that. I'm not an American football fan. I've got no idea if Texas even has a team, let alone whether they made it to the Super Bowl, but you can quickly find this info out. It's very little effort, so little friction for you, but the impact, the response, and the reaction that you're going to get when people get that message out of the blue is going to be huge. That personal touch is very, very valuable. All right, so the 6th most downloaded episode of 2018 is... It's episode 133, 4 simple ways to deliver massive value to your members. I love the fact that number 7 and number 6 are both simple ways episodes because we all love the simple stuff. I'm sure you guys would kind of zone out. It was like 4 really complicated, real pain in the backside ways of doing this thing. So this episode 133 delivers in terms of giving you really practical but really easy to implement tips and tactics for making sure that you are giving massive, massive value to your members. This is all real easy stuff that anyone can do. So again, you want to put your membership site head and shoulders above your competitors. You want to over deliver. Check out this episode at themembershipguys.com/133. Here's a clip from that episode. Now, so often membership site owners are focused on solving huge problems. We want to teach someone how to master this big strategy or this piece of technology or this musical style. That actually we overlook the fact that most of our members have little niggling problems, little very specific, very small hurdles that they want to get over that perhaps will never come on your radar because they don't justify creating a 3-hour-long course for. Now, these small wins, these opportunities to provide a very quick win, or perhaps you are aware of these sorts of little problems, these little challenges, but maybe you think that they're too small for your membership site to focus on. However, if you can prove to people that you can solve a small problem, they're more likely to trust you with their bigger problems. And so they're more likely to get engaged and to value their membership site. So as an example, I'll talk about what we do inside Member Site Academy. We actually have an entire type of content called Quick Wins. Now, these are maybe 15 to 30 minute long at most tutorials that zero in on a very specific thing. So that could be a very specific technical thing. As an example, a quick win tutorial we released a couple of weeks ago was how to add a survey into your MemberPress cancellation process. Now that is really specific. We're not going to do a whole course on it because it's not a big enough subject to require a course. And it's also not a relevant enough topic to justify creating a piece of content that's going to take us weeks and weeks of planning and recording and so on. But a 15 to 20 minute long tutorial, yes, this is only going to help a small percentage of our member base, but actually it's quick enough to produce that it justifies only being relevant to a smaller amount. But for the people who it's relevant to, this is massive value because the ability to do what this quick win tutorial enables you to do can have massive implications. So we're delivering massive value through a very simple, very easy to create method of actually serving our members. All right, so definitely make sure you check out that episode. This is all stuff that's real easy to implement, so it makes sense. Give it a listen, themembershipguys.com/133. All right, so it's heating up a bit now. We're into our top 5. So now the 5th most downloaded episode of 2018. It's one of my favorite episodes and a one that I really wasn't sure about recording, but based on the feedback that I've got, it's a one that was very much needed. So it's episode 158. How many people can I realistically expect to join my membership? Now, this is a one that I put off recording because so many people ask us, what is the industry average for conversion rates? What is the benchmark for how many new members I'm going to get every month? And those sorts of questions are impossible to answer, not just because there is no industry benchmark, but also because so much depends on 1,000,001 different factors. Your ability to sell, how good your sales assets are, how warmed up and pre-qualified your audience are, who else is in your market, what are they selling, how do you compare? All of this sort of stuff factors into things, but yet people still want a thumb in the air best guesstimate about how many people they're likely to have joining their membership. So episode 158 is the episode in which I attempt to answer the unanswerable question. So if you want to find out how I actually did that and get an insight into how many people you can realistically expect to join your membership, head to themembershipguys.com/158. Definitely one of my favorites from the last year, and judging from feedback we've had, plus the fact it was our 5th most downloaded episode, it's fair to say it was a popular one and one well worth doing. I understand why people ask this question. Why, when you're starting out, you want to have a ballpark idea of what is a realistic expectation for how many members your site will attract. Because a lot goes into creating a membership site, so of course you want some sort of assurance that it's going to be worth your time, that it's going to be worth the effort and the money that you're putting into your new venture. So this is where the kind of against my better judgment thing comes into it. Because there is no right answer to this, but I'm going to attempt to give you as close to an answer as is possible to give. I'm going to do my best to give you a rule of thumb to work to so that you can be realistic about your expectations. Because we see some people who maybe have like 100 or 200 people on their email list, and they go into this whole thing thinking that every single person on that email list, every single one of them will join their membership. And of course, they end up disappointed. You know, sometimes people will post about the results they've got as if it's the worst thing in the world. And we have to go back to them and say, hey, you've actually done really, really well. You've actually converted a large portion of your audience. It's just you had really unrealistic expectations at the outset. All right, on with the countdown. Number 4 on our list of most downloaded episodes of the Membership Guys podcast during 2018 is... It's episode 160, 5 options for starting a membership before you've grown your audience. And so when they're sitting there looking at this fantastic idea that they're desperate to push forward with, quite often they overlook the fact that they don't have that audience, they don't have that following, and they just assume that if they push forward with this amazing billion-dollar idea, then magically everything will just slot together. If that sounds like you, perhaps not quite as dramatically or pantomimey, but if that sort of situation sounds like a situation you're in, where you've got a great idea, but you just don't have a following, you don't have an audience, then I've got a little bit of bad news. Without an audience that you can truly call your own, that you can mobilize, that you can monetize, that are actively connected to you and want to hear what you've got to say, buy what you've got to sell, without any of that stuff, it's going to be an uphill struggle if you try to start a membership. You know, I'm not surprised this is one of the most downloaded episodes of the year. I caution against rushing in pretty much through the entirety of everything that we do. I massively caution about rushing into building a membership, trying to get things up and running before you've validated your idea and before you've actually built up an audience. However, there's some situations in which you do need or you might want to execute a little quicker. Or maybe it's too late. Maybe you didn't actually discover us and you didn't hear me banging the drum about building your audience first. And you've already got your membership ready and now you're thinking, I wish I knew that because now I've got this membership already and I don't have an audience. What do I do? So that's the situation that episode 160 addresses. So we talk about 5 things you can do essentially when you don't actually have an audience ready and waiting for your new membership site. How can you still get things off the ground without having to take 6 months out to actually build up your audience? So check out that episode 160 at themembershipguys.com/160. 5 options for starting your membership before you've grown your audience. That was our 4th most downloaded episode of the year. Our 3rd most downloaded episode is episode 152, 6 quick and easy membership sales tactics to try out this month. So you guys have really been enjoying the quick, simple, easy to implement tactical stuff. This is the 3rd one so far on our countdown. And it makes sense because, you know, sometimes people get so buried in the really convoluted sales funnels and in keeping up with the latest tactics and the latest shiny objects that they end up neglecting the simple stuff. But it's usually the simple stuff that makes the biggest difference. There's so much low-hanging fruit that many membership site owners overlook. And so in this episode, 152, we're talking about stuff that you can literally get done. You can literally implement into your sales process for your membership site right now, this month. You can get it all in place, ready to go before the new year kicks in if you're listening to this at the end of December. So 6 real quick and easy stuff. Listen to the episode, implement at least 1 or 2 of these things. It really, really won't cost you much time. It's not the sort of thing where you need to spend money on really over-the-top, complicated, convoluted software. We're talking about the no-brainer, low-hanging fruit stuff that you're probably not already doing. So head over to themembershipguys.com/152 to discover what those sales tactics are and to start taking action on them today. Okay, maybe not today if you are listening on Christmas Day. Maybe leave it till tomorrow. And here's just a little teaser of one of those sales tactics from that episode. Tactic 5 is so simple, but so many people don't do it. Make sure that you have a direct promotion, a direct pitch, and a call to action on your public website and on the thank you pages that people see after they've opted in to your email list. This sounds obvious, right? Adding a CTA to your website and to your thank you page. But you would be amazed how many people have it in their head that it is an absolute no-no to ever mention their membership unless somebody has gone through a convoluted sales funnel. You know, some of that mentality is fostered by some of the advice out there that suggests that you need to get people to buy tripwire products and jump through all sorts of hoops before you even mention and promote your membership. But that is complete nonsense. Put your membership front and center. Promote it on your website, on your blog, on your main site, and on the thank you pages when someone's opted in. Yes, you will get some people who do need to dance around the handbag a little bit, to go around the houses, go through your 10-part email series, attend a webinar, buy a tripwire product, blah, blah, blah. But some people in your audience, they just want to go from A to B. And if they see your offer from the get-go, from day one, they'll jump right in. But that's not going to happen if you don't have a link to your membership and a call to action for your membership on your public site, throughout your website, and importantly on the thank you pages for your email opt-ins. Okay, so we are steaming towards the top spot, but before we get there, it's time to reveal number 2 in our countdown of the top episodes from 2018. And narrowly missing out on the number 1 spot are my good friends Andrew and Pete from Atomic. Andrew and Pete are the most creative content marketers in the world, and they joined me on episode 157 to discuss creative ways to improve your member experience. These guys are ridiculously creative in everything that they do, so it stands to reason that the member experience they've designed for their own membership site, Atomic, is a little different from the average membership. So it was an absolute pleasure having those guys on the show to share some of what they do and to give some tips for how you can fuel your creativity and apply it to your own member experience.
And do you know what's amazing about all of this, though, is that there's always going to be people that say, I'm too boring for that, or I'm too professional. Like, we know we're not going to like convert everyone.
Yeah.
But that's great, right? Because if you're listening to this now, if you are the one that does this, you are the one that can stand out.
Yeah.
Because there is only like 10% that will listen to this podcast and go do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Who has the balls?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the thing is with that, like, if that is you, if you are like holding yourself back from actually putting more of yourself into your brand, more of yourself into your marketing, into the experience you create for your members, if you're stopping yourself from doing that, then one, it's probably going to come a little bit easier to you because you're not kind of pretending to be this fun, easygoing, kind of wacky person when you're just dying inside. But also, it's like people, I think, just in all walks of business, they're so afraid of putting people off, of turning people away. But it's probably one of the best things you can do is to filter people out based on whether they actually resonate with the way you do business.
Yes.
It's that whole Marmite thing. 50% will hate you, 50% will love you and buy and eat you all up.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily 50-50 for us, but like there are a handful of people that just do not like it, do not get it. They'll send us snotty emails. They'll call us unprofessional or cringeworthy.
I really loved your video about messenger bots, but have you got one that's a little bit less cringeworthy?
It was an actual email we got once.
Oh, wow. I love that. That episode was so much fun to record. I love those guys. They're good friends. I've known them for a number of years now. In fact, I used to be neighbours with Pete, although we didn't realize it until after I'd moved away. But yeah, we were pretty much neighbors. And Andrew and Pete are actually going to be keynoting at the Retain Live conference here in Newcastle. It's my hometown. It's their hometown. They're going to be keynoting with a phenomenal presentation that you really, really have to see. If you're coming to Retain Live next year and you've not seen Andrew and Pete speak before, you guys are in for a treat. And if you don't yet have your ticket, trust me, just these guys are worth the price of admission. So head over to retainlive.com. And once you've bought your ticket, check out the membershipguys.com/157 for my interview with Andrew and Pete, where they share creative ways to improve your member experience. All right, so before we reveal the most popular episode of the Membership Guys podcast in 2018, let's take a little recap, a little run through the rest of the top 10. At number 10, we had episode 166, Repurposing Your Membership Content with Amy Woods. Number 9 was episode 151, the 3 questions that will accelerate your membership growth. Number 8 was episode 134, 7 ways to make more money with your membership. Number 7 was episode 148, 8 simple ways to deliver a personal touch to your membership. Number 6 was another simple ways episode, 133, 4 simple ways to deliver massive value to your members. Number 5 was episode 158, how many people can I realistically expect to join my membership? In at number 4 was episode 160, 5 options for starting a membership before you've grown an audience. Number 3 was episode 152, 6 quick and easy membership sales tactics to try out this month. And number 2 featured 2 of my favorite marketers in the world. It was episode 157, creative ways to improve your member experience with Andrew and Pete. Okay, this is it. I think we're going to need an extra extended drum roll for this one. Our top, most downloaded, most popular podcast episode of 2018 is... It's episode 138, 11 proven tactics for starting a new membership community. Now, I've got to be honest, this threw me for a loop a little bit, because in the previous 2 years, if I remember rightly, the top episode has almost always been an interview. In fact, most of the top 10 in past years, especially the top 5, has predominantly been interviews with guest experts. But obviously you guys are just enjoying listening to me talk this year. And that's certainly not something I'm going to complain about. I'm so pleased actually that this episode was at the top, because the funny thing is, I've been to a few conferences this year where some of the speakers and some of the headline acts only seem to just now be discovering that community is the future of online business. And I found it so funny seeing these guys stand on stage with this huge revelation to the audience. Hey guys, the big secret is community is the future of online business. And I'm sitting there thinking, really? You've only just realized this? Our audience, you guys listening, you guys have known this for years. We talk so much about community and how important it is within the membership business, but just within online business in general. And so I'm so happy that the top episode of 2018 is a one that is focused around community. So this episode in particular gives some of my top tips and advice for how you actually get things moving with your community. How do you actually get people talking? How do you start to shape your community into the most positive experience and environment possible for its members? So this is definitely a must-listen episode for anyone with a membership site. Even if you don't have a community such as a forum or a Facebook group, ultimately your member base is still a community. And memberships thrive when they put community at the heart of everything that they do. So head on over to themembershipguys.com/138 to listen to this episode in full. But for now, here's a little clip from our most downloaded episode of 2018. Start small and scale up as needed, rather than creating a separate section in your forum for every conceivable topic that you think your community may want to discuss. And don't be all business either. Make sure you create a section for off-topic conversation too, because those more relaxed, casual conversations will often be a much easier inroad for new members to jump into and start posting. You know, it's far easier to chime in with your opinion on the latest episode of Game of Thrones than it is to chime in with your opinion on the economic shifts going on in China. If you are all business all the time, it can be a little more daunting for new members joining, especially if your membership has been a few months old and, you know, you already start to establish some regular posters. It can be very off-putting for somebody new to jump into more serious discussions. So think about those off-topic, low-hanging fruit conversations too. Okay, so there you have it, the top 10 most downloaded episodes of the Membership Guys podcast over the past year. Thank you to each and every one of you for each and every one of those downloads. I cannot express just how grateful both myself and Callie, the other half, many would say the better half of the Membership Guys. I just can't express how grateful we are for all of your continued support for years and years now. And we are so thankful for everyone who's ever listened to the show, left a review, shared on social media, taken part in our Facebook group, joined our membership. We love you guys. At the risk of sounding ridiculously cheesy, you make what we do worthwhile, and I cannot wait to keep delivering for you guys each and every week, as we have done for years and years now, as we have done for the past several years. Thank you so much. If you celebrate Christmas, again, Merry Christmas if you're listening on the day this comes out. Still crazy this is out on Christmas Day. I don't know why I find that so baffling, but it is Christmas Day. Hope you're having an awesome day. Hope you're having a great holiday season, whether you do celebrate or not. Please make sure you take time away from your membership to relax, to chill out, to reflect on the year that's been, and to think ahead to the year that's still to come. I'll be back again next week, and indeed, technically, next year. The next episode comes out New Year's Day. So make sure you check that out. It's going to be a great episode. Until then, thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of your Christmas. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.